Well, what do you know? It's today. That means there's another Your Daily Scrum. Who knows what today is, Todd, by the time this goes out? Maybe it's Wednesday, maybe it's Thursday. Heck, it could be a Monday. I don't know.
Yeah, if it's a Monday, then maybe we should do something entertaining so people are like, not dreading it.
If it's a Monday, you're awesome. Power through it. If it's a Friday, woohoo, the weekend. Maybe Super Bowl. Maybe Super Bowl is coming up. I don't know.
Could be.
All right, enough clowning around, I guess. We have a really fun question from one of our listeners, right? So viewer question. So again, thanks for dropping those. Keep dropping them in the comments. I'm telling you, we're answering them. Yeah. Right? If you put a question in the comments, Todd's been pulling them out. He's been refining them a bit. And he's putting them up front and center for us to answer.
We have quite the backlog of questions. So believe it or not, we're operating using some agile stuff. How about that, Ryan?
Hey, we should show the backlog at some point. Maybe if we get a really good product backlog question, we'll show how we work. How about that?
Yeah.
Leave us a good product backlog question in the comments, and we'll show you behind the scenes.
Yeah, I like it.
Today's question. Who did this question come from, Todd? Do we know?
This question came from Jose.
Jose. Jose asked, what is the benefit of having a sprint goal?
Yeah, it sounds like Jose had a pretty tense conversation about the benefit of a sprint goal with the team.
Yeah, so I think we've got some ideas around this, Todd.
We do.
So
we probably have a ton of ideas around this, but we're trying to keep this 8 minutes or less. So we'll keep it down to just a couple big ideas. How's that?
Yeah, we're going to do the big ideas. And if any of these resonate or if you have further questions, guess what? Leave us a comment below and we'll continue the conversation. So first point, Todd, I think you've got some really good ideas around this one. Flexibility.
And it's interesting. We just did a video with someone asking about the sprint backlog and whether it can be emergent. And the answer is yes, it can. So the sprint backlog being emergent leaves room for flexibility and creativity with a sprint goal, right? So if you have a single unifying purpose and it's very clear, it's business oriented, then you have flexibility on how you implement it. And you also have flexibility with the scope, right? So remember that sprint backlog is as emergent as the product backlog, we believe, because we figure out how much the work we have to do as we're doing it. But I really like the flexibility that teams have when they have a single unifying sprint goal, right?
Yeah, when we're working with people who are coming from a traditional product development background, sometimes we like to tell them, look, if you take the old iron triangle, time, scope, and budget. If you look at Scrum, we kind of fix two of those sides, right? Time and budget are fixed by the length of the sprint, by the duration of a sprint, and the cost of a sprint. So time and budget are fixed. Scope has to be flexible, right? We have to give teams the flexibility to creatively solve problems, or else we're setting them up for failure on day one. You can't plan complexity perfectly. We can't plan a sprint perfectly. But what we can do is inspect and adapt every day and adjust based on what we learn. And that kind of flexibility leads to successfully delivering a sprint goal, which is the outcome we're trying to achieve and the reason we're doing the sprint, and that preserves the possibility of success.
And avoids death marches.
Absolutely, right? Sustainable pace is also a thing. All right, so flexibility. The sprint goal gives the team flexibility on how to best solve a problem and to create an outcome or deliver value. Todd, another important idea here is collaboration.
It is. Well, so first, one of our users really liked our Vanilla Ice reference when we said stop, collaborate, and listen. I suppose we could I'm bringing it back up for this video, right? So collaboration, and I think I may have mentioned this in a video before. You've heard me say this a million times in class, is the difference between a cooperating team, which I don't believe to be a team, and a collaborating team. Cooperating team, during sprint planning, you plan what each individual is going to do, and then you disappear and try to bring it back all together. A collaborating team is all working towards the same common goal, and you generally see a reduction in work in progress with that. And the sprint goal really provides that opportunity to collaborate around one single thing, right?
Yeah, and that one single thing drives focus, right? Focus is really important while working on a sprint. There's 1,000 distractions that come up over the course of a sprint, whether it's a 1-week sprint or a 1-month sprint. There's so many opportunities to get distracted. There's squirrels flying around all over the place. It's real easy to lose sight of what we're trying to collaborate around, and what we're trying to end up delivering into the world by the end of the sprint. The sprint goal reminds us, it's like that North Star. We can always point to it and say, this is what we will make sure happens. It's that outcome, that value into the world, and anything that would put that at risk, we can just say no to, right? It gives us that clear vision, that clear focus. It gives us something to collaborate towards, and it informs our decisions as we exercise that right of emergence and flexibility, right? So that focus is super important. If we're not focused as a team, okay, we're going to grab this bug and we're going to do this item and it's just this mix of things. And by the end of a sprint, who knows if we have a cohesive increment or if the stakeholders are going to be pleased or if the customers are going to be served. And so it really, that focus keeps us really sighted in, because let's face it, when a product owner says, I want to fund a sprint, they're trying to fund an outcome. And if we don't have focus on that, if we cannot express why we're doing the sprint through a sprint goal and keep focused on that why, oh man, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It puts a lot of things in your organization at risk.
Yeah, it's just a maddening way to work too, right?
Yeah, it's
not being able to focus. I have a hard enough time focusing. Like, I really need to have a goal. Yeah. I have a hard enough time focusing as it is.
Well, and that kind of leads into our last point, at least for this video, purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Why are we even doing this sprint? Right? What's the result? What's the expected change in user behavior that results from the increment that we're building? Why are we even doing this sprint? And knowing why and having purpose it really has always helped to motivate me. Not that I'm generally a pretty motivated individual, but if I have a clear purpose, the loss in this case is sprint goal, it really, really helps to motivate me and helps my decision making. And it's going back to the other points of flexibility, collaboration, and focus. Having this purpose just helps to drive us forward.
Yeah. Well, I remember being a developer, and when I didn't understand the why behind the work, my attitude was different. Right? It felt like I was on a treadmill. It felt like I was being asked to do busy work. But when someone would take the time, when the product owner, the product manager, the PM, whoever it was, when they would take the time to say, this is how we're changing lives, man, my attitude was different. I was motivated. I was ready to work. And so it gives that purpose. You know, if we think of Dan Pink's work, you know, what he found was that people are motivated by autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Well, I see autonomy, mastery, and purpose in flexibility, collaboration, focus, and purpose, right? Purpose, I mean, directly, but autonomy and mastery come from these other things as well. This is how we keep people motivated. This is how we keep them in alignment. There's so many awesome benefits here that the flexibility, the collaboration, the focus, and the purpose that they provide. I mean, we cannot recommend sprint goals enough.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So who did the question come from, Todd? This
came from Jose. So thank you, Jose, for your question.
Great question.
And follow up with us in comments. We've loved reading all the comments. I gave another Vanilla Ice reference. Who knows what's going to come up next time? Right.
Well, and now let's ask this in the comments below. Have you used a sprint goal and seen some of the benefits we talked about today? Right. Or have you seen other benefits that we missed? Let us know in the comments. If you have any other questions about sprint goals, we love this topic. We'll do 100 videos on them if it helps. And so let us know in the comments how we can best serve you on the next video. But as for today's Your Daily Scrum, I think that's a wrap. We hope this helped, and we will talk with all of you tomorrow.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, as always, for joining us. You're sharing these videos like crazy. We're seeing our numbers just skyrocket. Thank you so much. Please be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, share it with your friends, hit us up on the socials. Let us know how we can help you. Leave your questions and comments below, and we will see you tomorrow on the next edition of Your Daily Scrum.
Tomorrow.